I look forward to working with Soren again, and I think he's a great director. He works quickly, but he's also very methodical, and he does take his time. I know those are two contradicting things, but in that world, you have to work quick. But he also really tried to focus on making this a very uh, beautiful project with the shots and the characters and the development in the time he had, and I think he's a fantastic director who I'd love to work with again.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment at Survival Shows. I'm Desiree, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Michael Antonakos, star of the Lifetime movie Scenes of My Husband. Join us as we delve into Michael's insights into his character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here with us today, Michael.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
For me, it's a pleasure. So, can you tell us a little bit about your character in Scenes of My Husband? How did you first connect with Louise Blake journey in Scenes of My Husband, and what drew you to this role?
What brought me to it was just a normal audition, actually, and it was for scenes that one of the scenes in the audition didn't even got cut from the script entirely. So it was there was only another scene in there where I'm running up the stairs chasing after my wife, yelling at her, and that was the other scene in the audition. And so I got it purely on an audition. Um, and I know that Soren, the director, really liked my work, so he's the one that was really pushing for me to get the part, and I was very grateful to him. Um, yeah.
Great. And what kind of research or character work did you undertake to bring authenticity to your character, Louise?
Oh, well, I have kids. I have a daughter of my own, and so for a father to have their daughter kidnapped, it's a very big deal, and and it was easy for me to relate to on that front. What would that be like? Is really the question. So a lot of the homework was just basically feeling that out in myself and working on the script, which was really lovely about the production, and they allowed us to really work with the text and change it and make it suit us better. So we were writing and script writing throughout the whole process of the making of it, which really made it feel more authentic to ourselves and what we were trying to get, and really helped me bring Louis more forward in the way that I was wanting. Not to say that the text wasn't good; it was just that we elevated to make it more personal and fight for something more from our own sort of words. And it was very valuable in that way. So it was really just understanding the text as best we could and bringing that forward, and and having that relation with my wife and with not only losing our daughter and finding her, but then what to do after you found her, and then the repercussions of your daughter, actually the mental state she would be in, and knowing also that her friends have passed away and she's not, and there's a lot of guilt that comes with that. And so how to reassure your own child is it's a big deal, um, which I was doing my best to focus on with Julia, the girl who played my daughter. And it wasn't too hard of a stretch for me, let's put it that way, to do the homework. I have an 8-year-old daughter myself, so yeah.
Amazing. So, and how did you develop on-screen chemistry with Juliet Hawk and the rest of the assembly?
Juliet, like my daughter, or is that who you said? Or
Yeah,
Alana Hoffman? Or
yeah.
Alana, like my, okay. Um, well, Alana and I met. We actually have the same agent, so it was we got introduced to each other prior to filming, and got to know each other. And Haley Sales and I are old longtime friends. We did, I think, her first short film and one of my very first short films when I was like 19, 20, somewhere in there, 20s, in my early 20s. And so was she. She was in her, I think, late teens at that point. So we've known each other a long time. And Yeah, Lana and I just got to know each other. We were in the same hotel, so we got to hang out, get to know each other a bit, and spend time. Just a lot of it was on set, just building and working on the scripts together. And Juliet, my daughter, on set, she was there with her mother too, which was wonderful. So we got to hang out and chat and just get comfortable because the thing on film sets, it can be very fast. Like these productions in particular shoot very quick timelines. So you're there, you're shooting. There's no pre-reads of scripts. You're just on set, you're going. You've got basically 12 days to shoot an entire movie and get to know each other and go. And, so it was all on set, which was lovely. We just spent a lot of time hanging out, having chats, getting to know one another, each other's families, talking about things, just getting comfortable so that when you're actually in front of the camera, you feel a sense of ease that you need to have so no one feels awkward because it's an intimate character, intimate scenes. You got to hold your daughter like it's your daughter, and you got to love her
Yeah.
like it's your daughter. And you also want to make your co-star an actor who doesn't know you and is this older person coming. Like you want to make them feel like it's okay. I'm a safe space. we're here to we're here to play and let's have some fun. Um, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. And talking about the collaboration with the director, what was your experience collaborating with the actor Soran Martoki on
Yeah.
this thriller?
Yeah. Soren was fantastic. I look forward to working with Soren again, and I think he's a great director. He works quickly, but he's also very methodical, and he does take his time. I know those are two contradicting things, but in that world, you have to work quick. But he also really tried to focus on making this a very uh, beautiful project with the shots and the characters and the development in the time he had, and I think he's a fantastic director who I'd love to work with again. And he really cared a lot about just making the story good and making the characters full and rich and giving us that trust that we could bring that forward and allowing us that opportunity to play and play with the script and keep going and making it just keep making it better and better and better, and I think he's a very caring person, offset, onset, and very lovely to communicate with. And I think he's just a fantastic director all around. So I hope for a chance to play some more with him.
That's amazing. And about the dynamics on set, can you
Yeah,
share a memorable moment from the set of the scenes of my husband that have shaped your performance, or a funny moment?
I have a good funny moment just popped in my head because there was on set the set deck has to cover all the stairs and everything when people are walking around with all the equipment and making sure things are safe, and they line the steps with sheets and paper so that when you're stepping around it's all clear. And there was one point where I was coming down the steps, and one of them was gave us a warning. It was like, hey, like don't I can't remember. If it's don't run down the steps or careful don't trip because the new things are being put down. And so as I was coming down the corner of the steps, I love theater and I like clowning. So I pretend to like fall down the stairs, but like stumbled and everyone looked like freaking out, like, oh my God. And I did this full act like I was falling, but never actually fell over. And so by the time I got to the bottom of the steps, I like recovered, but everyone thought it was real. And then I had them all as a good joke, just to make fun of them. And I think that was one of my little favorite highlights of a trick pulled on the entire crew there at that moment. It was literally like warning, 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 and then me falling down the stairs. um,
That's fun.
yeah, it was a good trick.
Great. So, thriller films often balance suspense with emotional stakes. How did you find that balance as an actor?
That's always a hard one to say because you're always looking for like just being present in that moment and and then adding like those layers of context, it's really just breathing into what is happening as best you can, and playing, really taking risks in different ways. I remember this one scene I was playing it a certain way, and then right at the last take I just did it a whole different way, and then I was like, oh, there it is. That's the scene now, but and it's totally different, and I'm like, and I hope that works because it's totally different than every other take I've done. And I hope it edits well. So what my mind was going like, it's a fine art of emotional stakes, pace, and also taking your time to really process and to feel, and what is the character going through right there, and this weird balance of in between, because you can play emotional stakes, and the faster it goes, the more intense it can become. And you also want to keep that subtlety and that inner thoughts and uh, that world happening within the character at the same time. So, yeah, it can be a process of just finding that. And sometimes you find it in the moment on the scene. Sometimes you're finding it in your rehearsal at home when you're working on it. Um, and it's just a rehearsal on set, and then you're shooting. So it's not a lot to work on in between, if that makes sense. But you're looking for it in the moment, and hopefully it comes up, is best way of putting it. As long as you're there.
That makes sense. So, talking about your career in general, you've excelled in both motion capture and traditional on-camera roles. How does your approach differ between these two types?
Great question. Motion capture and performance capture compared to film, is the way I like to look at it, is it's a medium of distance. So motion capture is very similar in one capacity to theater in your physicality. So there is a much more, I think of myself as the whole audience can see me at all times. So my whole body has to be participating in the story, as if there's a 15 rows of seating. Maybe not a giant theater, but like, a 10 to 15 row theater is like, okay, my whole body tells a bit of the story as well, included in there. So I need to make sure my body's participating fully, so the audience gets it, because I'm not sure 100% what the shots will be like in the very end sometimes with performance capture. Plus, you're playing very out there characters sometimes. So I call it a bit more of a puppetry of acting, because your body is the puppet, is the way I look at performance capture. And the authenticity is the same though. We're still looking for that same inner authentic performance, but the film world is more inward. It's what's going on behind your eyes, what's in your thoughts, and your processing and your physical behavior goes on within you. Whereas in performance capture, I like to let my physical behavior be shown more. Let's put it that way. So my thoughts are actually being shown physically sometimes. So it helps tell the story. But I can use both. They both inform each other, and they're both helpful for one another. I just find that performance captures a medium of in between theater and film, the authenticity of film, but the quality that I love of theater. And the film is like an inner. It's a bit more of I call it like a selfish inner experience that you're having with your co-stars and this and that, and it's very personal, and the camera captures all of that within your consciousness. Yeah, because right, it sees everything in the eyes. Yeah.
Amazing. So, having played Alexios in Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
Yep.
how did your motion capture background inform your film performances?
When I played Alexios, it was I build a character physically, and some film roles can call for that. It depends. Sometimes it's just you. It's just like be you in that character's circumstances for film, and sometimes it involves the process of building an actual physical nature to your character. So Alexios, yeah, I built like a physical nature. Like he's like a warrior. He's probably holding a lot of pain and suffering, especially in the beginning of the game. So he would be like defensive, the way he walks, the way he holds his body, and you can take all of these aspects and bring them into film. It just depends on what kind of role you're trying to create. And in motion capture, it doesn't matter as much of what you look like physically, as long as you can make it look like that animated.
Oh,
Where film and TV, you have to change your body to look like it.
yeah,
So in performance capture, I can think it, change my body physically to feel like it would, and the animation will be the thing that's changed.
yeah.
So that's a big distinction there. Whereas in film, I actually have to do the work to change my body externally to suit whatever it is. So if I want to be Alexios, I have to build those muscles, build that body, build that like look of how he's going to feel, um, and bring that forward as well. So yeah, that would be the slight difference. How they inform each other. Again, voiceover, um, animation, all of that stuff that I've also done has also helped me become a better film and television actor because it helps me understand script work, text work, the depths of what am I saying, subtext wise behind the words, and how do I inflect or intone things so the audience is receiving my inner messages that I'm trying to convey, rather than how I help them figure out what's the word that's trying to be conveyed by a simple way of saying it, um, and then you get what I mean. So that stuff has informed my film work as well. All of it. They all inform each other and help each other become a better actor altogether. Does that
That
make
is,
sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. So, about voice acting, what lessons from your voiceover roles have you applied to your live action work and vice versa?
Oh, well, lessons. Good question. Uh, you don't have to be as big as you think you do. I've learned that over, in video games or even in animation, you can go very big. You can go very huge and broad in your work, and it's projecting. And I like being big. I come from the theater. I like the clowning. I like expressing, and and in film and TV, I've also had to learn to like again bring all of that inward and just think the thought and say it without trying to get it out to people. Let them come to you, and there's a bit of a difference in that. So voice work has really taught me how to find that difference, how to find that subtlety, and how to find that grandiose expression when it's needed, and playing in between there. So yeah, voice work has helped me again. Like I said, text wise, it's made me a much more proficient performer because I think auditorially, I think visually, and I always try to look at things from the audience's perspective as well as from like what's going on now for me and the actor. How can I connect and just play and not think anymore? But when I'm building things, I do like to think like a director would, in the context of like, what is this going to look like? Um, and so, what's going to sound like? Are the words I'm saying hitting the way that I want them to? And when I'm on set, I let all that go. But my homework is to do that, so that the messages are being conveyed properly. Because that's my job, is to honor the writer's work as best I can.
That's inspiring. So, you are an acting coach too, and as an acting coach and a workshop leader, what key piece of advice do you often share with the emerging actors?
Oh, so many. Uh, if you're going to take this on as a career, it's it's brilliant, it's fun, it's a beautiful craft. It's painful, and there's nothing like it. Um, your job is to always be informing yourself and growing as a person so that you can know yourself better. The better you know yourself, the easier it is for you to see others. And when you can see others because you're no longer trying to figure out who you are, which is a big process, I feel like you'll always spend your whole life trying to figure out who you are. But the more in touch you become with yourself, the more it's easier for you to access where other people are coming from and play in their experience, in their shoes. So rather than, as in my earlier days, I feel like there was a catharsis of performing scenes to get something out of me. Now it's like the more I'm in touch with myself, I'll call it like a healing within myself. The more I'm here and now with me, the easier it is for me to step out of me and know what's the difference. So I always try to help actors to really get to know yourself first. Get to know who you are, and life will teach you so much. So then when you look to others, you can be more empathetic, you can be more compassionate, you can respect their decisions, villain or hero, and you can come at that from a perspective of and awareness of where they're coming from. And that's really important because, in my opinion, every character is searching for something. And I always say every character is looking for love in some way or another, to feel self validated, to get respect, to get whatever it is they're wanting. So find out who you are, what you want in life, how you're getting there, what it is that makes you tick, your triggers, all these things. So when you're stepping into someone else's shoes, it's a lot easier to go, okay, that's me. I can take aspects of me and bring that in. Uh, but that's also this person, and that's not like me. And what makes that different? And how can I find that element of that person within me? Because we're all the same in that context. We all have the same emotions and triggers and things. We just express them differently. And so I have to find that within myself. And I love helping actors explore those uh, levels of dynamic difference within themselves, the happy and the sad. And like we need
Yeah,
to access both of those emotions and the joy and the sorrow. And so everything in between. And so the more you get to know yourself, the easier it is to find it for others. So stepping into other people's shoes, in other words. Yeah.
it's amazing. Great answer. So, talking about the actors' shop, how
Oh,
did yeah. How did the actors' shop come to life, and what are your goals for the coaching collective?
oh, thank you. That's an old. The Actors Chop Shop has not been around for a bit now. It's. I guess I should change that, but it was such a valuable training tool. My it was actually a professor from university that we became friends with. He left the university after at University of Victoria, the theater program there, and he brought this forward, and I joined with him, and we started doing these what's it's called on camera with a live editing system training. So we'd have two cameras set up with a live editing system,
Okay. Oh,
so you could watch everything. So back as the actors come in, you do your scene, you sit down, it's already edited,
okay. Oh,
and yeah, and then you get to see how the scene plays. And there's a live editor just editing. So the editor has to get really good too because he's practicing editing on the fly.
yeah.
And we all take turns doing this as actors, and we all give each other notes and feedback. So it became a training tool for professionals, and we were doing it for many years. Probably one of my favorite training tools, especially for on camera training. And sometimes what we would do is we show up, we have 30 minutes to learn our scene and our lines and everything, because sometimes on set, that's how it works. Sometimes in auditions, that's how it works. Here's
Yeah.
a new script. Here's this. Go. So you learn your scene, you learn your lines, you drop them and you go. And it's all shot, and then you get notes and you do it again. For a training method, I thought it was fantastic, and I thank Scott Malcolm for bringing that into my life and the lives of all the other actors who did. And we started coaching and training and teaching it for a long time, and it was an amazing. Yeah, it was amazing, and I think I might do it again now. You're bringing it back to me, so I'm like, I might bring it back to life.
Great. So, looking back at your early performances with the Rocky Mountain Shakespeare Company,
Yeah.
how has your craft evolved?
Oh man, that's like night and day. The Rocky Mountain Shakespeare Company was my introduction to Shakespeare, and I was 10, 11, I think. And then I started working with them at like 14, 13, 14. And I would just be out there. I would literally just wear costumes and walk on the street and sell tickets. That's like how much I wanted to be involved with them. My stepfather at the time earlier was doing some of the shows, and he he wasn't an actor, but he loved acting, and he wanted to do it. So that's kind of what got me into Shakespeare, and and I fell in love with it. I mean, I there was one scene I was pretty young. I was probably 15, and I remember being backstage. I hope this is all right to say publicly, but it was one of my like wow moments. And as a boy, I'll put it this way, there was
Yeah.
a I think I was one of the only young cast in it, and we were doing A Midsummer Night's Dream, and I remember being backstage, and there was a quick change, and there was a woman who come backstage, and there was a mirror, a long mirror, and I was just standing, and then they did a quick change, and she was topless, and I was like, and I'm just going like, I'm staying in theater. um, and
Yeah.
I just that was right, like but I really did I love performing. I truly loved performing, and it was from a young age, grade two, I think, and doing my first show, and I was Little Red Riding Hood, and I was the grandmother in that, and I remember auditioning it for between girls and all this stuff, and I remember getting this role as like 7, 8-year-old kid being like, I'm so happy I'm playing the grandmother in Little Red Riding Hood, and but I made it my own, and everyone thought I was a girl, so I was very happy. I had spectacles and a bonnet and the whole thing, and it kind of introduced me to just that the audience. I'd never experienced what an audience was like before, so uh, finding another avenue to do that in Shakespeare and at this small theater company in the Rocky Mountains where I was growing up in Lake Louise, uh, it was an outlet for me to continue to act and learn and understand this text work that I had no idea what things meant, and watching people performing these stories and being like, wow, still it because Shakespeare transcends uh, the text itself, I find. You can watch it, not know almost anything they're saying, and still get it. It still makes sense. You still
Yeah.
get the story. And the more you grow up, the more the text becomes rich. The more I grow up, I still have monologues that I've been doing since university, basically. And I still have them with me. And I'm always doing in the back of my head somewhere because they just get deeper. So I give the Rocky Mountain Shakespeare Company a big gratitude in my life for introducing me to Shakespeare at a young age, and how that's elevated my work is incomprehensible. How that's made me understand texts and punctuation and diction and all these things that uh, school tried to teach me but failed, and Shakespeare taught me and succeeded. Yeah.
What's your cultural roots? How has your Greek heritage and your Canadian upbringing shaped your artistic sensibilities?
Ooh, good question. It's a fusion because I used to go to Greece growing up in the summers to visit my father, who still lives in Greece, and
Yeah.
so I got a lot of the Greek culture growing up, which I'm very grateful for. And I didn't grow up fully Canadianized, and so it was always a bit of a culture shock, actually, going back to Greece and experiencing Greek culture for a few months, and then coming back to Canada and experiencing Canadian, and they're very different.
Yeah.
And you would know, una fazza una razza, right? Like know.
Yeah.
um, so it was good for me because I got to learn that there's other ways people live. There's other ways people view the world. And I got to see my culture and understand more about where I come from, and see the Greek culture and how lovely they are and how the people are, and just the expression is so different. The emotions are so different.
Yeah.
The volume
Yes.
is so different. Like we're out, we're big, and in Canada we're in and we're reserved, and we're passive in many capacities. We hold back our thoughts and feelings. Rather than Greek, they let thoughts and feelings out, and it's okay,
Yeah.
and that's a conversation. In Canada, that's like a fight, and I'm like, no, no, that's just a conversation.
Yeah. I can understand.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
As well, the just the nature of the worlds themselves are very different. Canada, just the nature is different. The landscapes, the animals, the world. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains. Like I grew up in the heart of what Canada kind of is known for. And then go to Greece for my summers. I couldn't ask for two better experiences as far as what nature has to offer, but one is freaking cold. It's harsh, and it's a tough reality, in Canada. So in the winter times it can be, and and it was good. Both of them were very good, and they taught me how to balance between those two worlds a lot. And I've found myself much more adaptable wherever I go because of it.
Great. And about your future, which filmmakers or actors have you yet to work with, but would love to collaborate with in the future?
Oh man, that's a good question. There's so many. Um, and one of my favorite directors is Mel Gibson. I'm gonna be straight up. Like I love Mel Gibson's directing, and I would love to work in something what he's directing in. Hands down, that would be an amazing experience. I think Apocalypto is just an incredible film. Braveheart's one of my favorite movies ever made, and yeah, I it would be one of my tops. But there's so many brilliant actors. I don't even like know where to start when I would need to sit down and think about that. Gary Oldman would be a highlight if I could ever work with him as another actor, just to watch him and be a witness to his work. And I feel like it would also just be such a blessing, and I would grow a lot. Uh, and directors, I mean, there's so many good directors. How am I trying to think? If another one pops up, I'll let you know. But yeah.
Great. So the last question. Are there any film or television roles or projects on your horizon that you can share with us?
Oh, I've been doing a video game for the last year and a bit. I'm not allowed to share yet, and
Okay.
that's been kind of yeah, it's been scratching. Like, I want to tell everyone. Just tell them. I can't. But it will be a big game, and I'm very excited to have been a part of it. And that's kind of where I've been at for a while. So it's been a big focus in my life. And upcoming, I've been writing a script with my co-star in Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
So Melisanthi Mahat, who plays Cassandra, she and I have written a film, and we're looking at getting it produced right now. And it would be shot in Greece, and it's
oh,
yeah, yeah, it's a beautiful film. So that's kind of where our focus has also been on the production side to making a movie. Yeah.
great. So this is it. Make sure, all of you, to catch up with the Sins of My Husband on Lifetime platform. And thank you, Michael, to join us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Nice to meet you, and have a wonderful day.
It's a pleasure for me. Thank you so much again, and thank you all for watching. Bye!